Hey there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are, whether you're live, where you're watching the replay. Hey, this is the Melanated Air Hour. We do this every Tuesday and Thursday at 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern. Thank you for joining us if you are live. If you are just tuning in or this is the first time you're catching us, I will introduce all of the ladies on this platform on our broadcast today, like I normally do. I am LaNée Javet. You can find me on social media at I am LaNée Javet. Another one of our co-hosts today is Keisha Ravenell at We Inspire Brand. Madam President is in the building at One Madam President, and the lovely Teddy Ewing at The Real Teddy Talks is here today. Woo, child, we are talking about jobs, money, get secure in the bag. I don't know if you guys have been watching the news, not the news like regular news, but social media news, where this HR recruiter is being dragged for offering a potential new hiree $45,000 less than the budget. So I guess the budget called for $130,000, but since the person only asked for $85,000, she only offered them $85,000. Now, if that wasn't enough, then she went online to turn this into a quote unquote learning opportunity, and she got dragged for it. So today we're talking about there's so many things we could talk about. Negotiating, right? Proper negotiating. How do you ask for what you're worth? But we're just going to start with, is it appropriate to go online and try to give somebody some help in a negative manner?
Isn't there that phrase about be the woman that adjusts another woman's crown without telling her it's crooked or something like that? Like, we could have had a teaching moment directly after that. She could have got offline. There were several ways she could have done it without putting herself on blast, her company on blast, because it's easy to find out who somebody works for, and making that person feel insignificant. So all that was bad. Those are bad decisions.
Yeah, I had to put on my career development hat for this one last night, y'all. So my best friend, she had sent this in our group chat, and they were dragging her, and I was just like, I agree with her. And I feel like we all pretty much agree with her, right? As far as the salary negotiation. But I was just like, I don't mind that she did that, because we have to know our opponent. This is what we're working with. So had she not said anything, that means that there are a lot of people out there that probably really don't know that this is how these HR recruiters and these companies, this is what they're thinking. So I would rather our opponents put themselves out there and put themselves on blast so we can know how to conduct ourselves and negotiate.
So basically you're saying is, was she wrong? Was she wrong to offer her $85,000 when the $130,000 was available when she only asked for $85,000?
Who is she loyal to? The HR recruiter is loyal to the company. She's not loyal to the potential employee or the new employee. She's not loyal to her. She's looking to save her company money. So I don't think she's wrong for offering her $85K. Now, I might receive a little bit of backlash about this, what I'm about to say. Now, I feel like if it was a sister that she was talking to, if it was another Black woman, I feel like she needed to pull her to the side. Like, look, girl, like, you need to do this, give her a little bit of tip or something like that. But other than that, she needs to be loyal to her company. She's loyal to her company and she's loyal to her job. It's not her fault that this woman didn't know how to negotiate her salary.
And just for the record, just for people who are watching, we don't know what color, we don't know the race of the person who applied. So we don't know if it was a sister, a Caucasian, an Asian. We don't know the race of the employee, the new hire. We know that it was a sister that was the HR recruiter.
Yeah, statistics show that Black women literally die leaving about $260,000 on the table. I don't know the race of the person, but a lot of times Black people in general, especially if they come from that space where they are not they're not experts in their market, right? So if you're not an expert in your market and you just kind of climbing up the ranks and you just going good job after good job, you do not know when you being bamboozled. And I
taken
believe
advantage of.
exactly. And one of the reasons that I think for myself personally, the struggle with proper negotiation is because I started so low in the beginning. So every time I was getting, what I thought was an increase, it took years before I was getting what I should have started with. And that's what happens when you do not know the value of your job. That's what happens when you do not know. I think my friend who's an epidemiologist, she says, I go and do market analysis on the work that I do. When you're not doing a market analysis on your own work, you're going to get cheated every time. And like you said, Keisha, the young woman, loyalty is to the company. And let's talk about the company culture, the standard and the morale behind basically, the bonus.
I was trying to get my buzzer up. I didn't mean to press it. Sorry.
So, Madam President, my question is, whose fault is it that you didn't know that you could have been making more?
It's if it's me personally, it's a combination. Sometimes I believe it's a combination. It's company and it's personal. When you do a job, say for instance, and this is what's so a job, say for instance, you and another person is doing the same job. You don't know that the job is a $27 job and they gave you 20, they gave him 27, for whatever reason that it was. And it's not always experience, sex, gender. Sometimes an HR person can just say, I like this person.
Couldn't that person have talked to other people in the field? Like made it their business to know what is the going rate in my city for people who do what I do?
Absolutely. But guess what? That's when you are about your business. This is not, mind you, sometimes when we get jobs, this is survival. We get jobs after jobs so that we can continue to survive. A lot of the jobs sometimes is not the dream job. So we literally like, okay, let me do this gig. I'm going to work it. Boom. They got good benefits. Boom, boom. All of that. So you like, I'm good. I'm good. But then
you try to get your foot in the door. You can be trying to get your foot in the door, and so you're willing to take a lower pay just to get in the door. Yeah. But I think in this situation, she didn't necessarily have to take a lower pay. So it comes back to what Keisha said about value, knowing your value, even trying to get your foot in the door. If you know your value, you should still get paid what you weigh, as the young people say. C. Anderson, so two questions. C. Anderson said, did you see her full response to the dragging? I did. I have it on Facebook. I'm going to pull it up in a second. But the other thing that she pointed out that I wanted to bring up was that, according to C. Anderson, allegedly, y'all got to protect yourself, it was a Black woman, and the woman reported her after seeing her on social media. So apparently the woman who was going after the job got wind of the fact that the lady offered her less, saw it, and has allegedly reported her. Hypothetically speaking, if that were you, if you had applied for a job and you asked to get paid $85,000, but the range went up to $130,000, and they paid you what they asked you, and you saw on social media that you could have asked for more, what would you do? How would you feel?
I'll just be quick, but I will say that it's all I worked for a person who was the president of a company, and she told me one time that there's always a good time to negotiate. Negotiation is negotiation. You can always go back and say, hey, I did some more research and I found out that this position is actually at $135K. Therefore, I am requesting that my salary be reopened and we close at such and such. I mean, you professionals know how to do it, but you can negotiate as much as you want to if somebody's open to listening and open that pot back open for you.
And it's not you get what you get. Like, you need to ask and stop being afraid of the word no. I think in business, in life, in relationships, we're so afraid to hear no because why? There's really no reason. A no, now a company's not going to say, because you asked for so much, I'm not even going to consider you anymore. They're going to say, they should say, if they're professional, that's a little higher than our budget, but what we can do is this. And then it starts a negotiation process. Mm-hmm. And if they're not negotiating with you, find someone who will. If you need that as a gap fill the gap. Keep that resume out there and keep looking for something else. You don't have to take what you get. You don't have to keep it. Sometimes you need to take it. You ain't got to keep it forever. So don't be afraid to job hop your way to something better.
I agree 100%, Teddy. And I'm glad that you brought up that point, because you don't have to take the first job that offers you a position. There are plenty of other jobs out there. And if you're already an employee, you can use that as leverage. So let's say you do go to your employer, you go to your supervisor and you say, hey, I'm looking for a raise, and you have your employee evaluations from the last couple years and you've done exceptional and you want your raise. They don't give it to you. Now you start looking for other things that may be out there. You come back to the table and say, hey, this is what this other job is going to offer me. They have better benefits. They have better paying salary. I'm thinking about taking this. What can you offer me?
Yeah.
So you have to understand that this company needs you, and that goes back to your worth. That goes back to your value. They need you. You need their pay. It's not just you need them. It's an exchange.
Yeah.
Everything is negotiable. I like what Madam President said. Everything is negotiable, and it's negotiable at any given time, not just when you walk in to sit down for the interview. The other thing is, I think, I forget who said it. I think Teddy Martin said it. When somebody likes you or they want you to have the job, they're going to go to bat for you. I've seen my sister negotiate ranges above what they wanted to pay because the people wanted her there. This is what the range. Okay, that's fine. This is what I'm looking for. So hold on a second. Let me go and see what we can do. They go back. Hey, this is what she wants. I'm like, yeah, we're still not willing to do that, but we'll give her this much more. They go back. I couldn't get you what you asked for, but I got you this much more. No, I'm good. That it's okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. No, we want you. Like if somebody really wants you, if you stick to your values and what you really want, and that company sees your value, they will meet you at it and they will try to bring you on if they can. Is it fair? Go ahead.
I was just going to say, you have to be confident and communicate your knowledge, your skills, your abilities, and know about that industry. If you don't do your research, if you don't know, then they're going to take advantage of you. And now you're left with 85K and you could have had 130.
Yeah. And let's not make it only about money. There are other things they can offer: more time off, PTO, better or less health coverage, depending on what you may or may not need. The option to telework, like those things are big. I know a lot of people in this pandemic that have taken less pay to work at home, to have that freedom to telework and be with your family, lose that 3-hour, 2-hour commute for the day and all that. So your time is valuable. So you can adjust your pay for the other things that they may add to kind of compensate for salary. You can get paid in other ways.
Absolutely. And I just want to say something too. We don't really say this very often, but in hindsight, say for instance, if this young lady was making 75K at her last job, and so she was like, 85K, I'll take it. So that's the problem when we're years behind. When we're years behind, we constantly go into a situation thinking that we're being promoted when we ain't even scratched the surface of what it really is. Yeah. So it becomes a problem when we take jobs at a very low rate. It becomes a problem when you're agreeing to things. But what really is the problem is, America being able to get away with not disclosing salaries. See, the reason they don't want to disclose salaries is because they want to pay this person that amount and that person that amount. And the reality is, let it be open. Yeah, this job is $135,000. Okay, good. And based on your skill set, it matches. Your work history, your skill set matches. Stop playing this corporate game.
Does society really want that though? I'm military, so y'all know, y'all can Google what I get paid. You can Google it, look at my time in service, my rank. You know exactly how much I get paid. That's worked well for me in age, as time went by. When I first started, it was pennies, right? But I find it hard to believe the private sector really wants that. But I'm not in it yet, so I can't say. But do you guys want any job you get to is displayed? This is how much you get paid. There's no negotiation. There's no option for any additional benefits. You get what you get in this instance. Does I want people in the comments to answer that too. I think
it might be more equality. If that actually happened, there would be more equality in women's pay and men's pay.
That is true. That is true.
This is what everybody get paid across the board. Doesn't matter if you get hired in this position based on your skills, your experience, etc. This is what you get paid. It would deal with that. Now, what it would do is make nepotism, I believe, more prevalent than it already is. Because if I know that this is what my cousin is about to get paid, I'm about to put my cousin on.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
You know,
I don't mind that though. I don't mind that.
I'm not talking about from a Black perspective. I'm talking about the other persuasion.
Yeah.
And not to mention, LaNée, what happens is too, what I notice is that Oprah Winfrey, when she was doing when she started out, and she was I can't remember if it was whatever she was doing early on in the media, right? It was her and her co-host, and she was making 30,000 and he was making 75,000.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just throwing out random numbers, but it was a drastic difference in what they were paying. And she said we were doing the same job. And so when she went and asked the man who was responsible for her salary, the man told her, "Do you have a wife and children? Do you have a wife and child that you're taking care of?" Now, mind you, Oprah Winfrey was a young woman during that time. So she said, "No, I do not." And guess what? She ain't walk out with no more money.
No.
she
became Oprah Winfrey, that we all know because of that slap in the face.
Yeah. And so she continued. So even a person like Oprah Winfrey has experienced pay inequity and discrimination, etc. It happens across the board. That's why I believe that if we did disclose our salary, and I know, folks being your business, but it's a company thing. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. A company shouldn't have a CEO and a CFO with a private jet at all these shares and billions of dollars, and then the customer service representative have to borrow money to get to work. It needs to be fair across the board, and people get rewarded. Like the person over the Twitter, the HR recruiter, she gets rewarded. I'm sure her bonuses are big.
Money.
Yeah, exactly. She's saving all the money, and then she's like, "But guess what? When you come from me, no, you do not come from me. But when you come from a space like I did, I didn't have a lot of professional mentorship. Yeah. I had no professional mentorship. I mean, now we have access to the internet on how to Google how to get paid. But I'm going to tell you all something. People take advantage of your passion and your desire to move up in the world. Yeah. People take advantage of that. But what you can endure does not mean you should tolerate it. I got to a place where I started making the money. I started demanding more money once I learned that I was being cheated, number one. And it took years. Imagine if I would have started 5 years ago, then I would be double the amount that I have now, because I started at a fair place. But white women start fair. White men start fair, not Black women.
I have a question.
So, go ahead. I want to get to this question that Ronnie Johnson asked real quick. No one ever gets paid what they're worth unless you own your own company. The best you can hope for is to break a little above even. Do we agree? Or do you guys agree with that?
Nope, I don't agree with that at all.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
Madam President's friends, you have CEOs getting paid what they weigh, private jets, houses that are paid for, vacations that are paid for, and they run a company. So that's not necessarily true.
Yeah,
it is official to have your own company. I'm not saying that it's not, but people who know what they're worth and they walk into the interview and they're going for a position and they have demands, they get paid what they're worth.
Yep.
Some people are valuable but ain't worth a lot. So you can take it or leave it, but some people don't do the work, so they don't need to own no company. They need to be working their hourly job, because if they didn't, they wouldn't have no money to feed their family, because they don't put in the effort. So I get his point, but I don't agree.
And also, some people that are running businesses, they're not charging what they're worth, so they're not making what they're worth.
Yep.
Yeah,
they're afraid.
Let me tell you something too. I feel like we have to stand for our word. I feel like we submit to like what we are like, we submit to the lower pay, but it's like, you got to be open to the no. You got to be open to say, I refuse to take that salary. I refuse, and move on. But we're afraid to do that sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Question.
So LaNée, I'm sorry, Keisha, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, do you feel that this young lady would have received the same backlash if she was a man? If she was a man and said this, do you think she would have received the same backlash?
Before you answer that, LaNée, I was going to kind of ask that same question. So I'll take what Keisha said and add on to it. And how do you feel knowing that it was a Black woman doing this to another Black woman?
That's the piece. Okay, I'm glad you said that. So the first part of that is, I think it would have still received a backlash if it was a man, because there's a discrepancy. So I still think putting information out there of paying somebody $85,000 when the range was 130, that they would have got backlash. That's point one. Point two, I think it got way blown out of proportion because it was a Black woman on both instances, right? And point three, I think if it was a white man dealing with a white man, he would have given him the difference.
For sure. Right. For sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have thought twice about it, right?
Not at all.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think all three of those things are factors. Yes, I still think it would have been backlash because ethically, right? Like, we're all entrepreneurs, right? So ethically, I can't believe you only offered her $85,000 when the range was 130. Ethically, as an entrepreneur, I just saved $45,000. Exactly. I'm still getting the job done.
Right. Because we don't know the size of the company.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It just depends on what side of the coin you sit on. Now, there is this post. I tried to pull it up, but I'm going to read it to you guys. And it's from Shannon Hughes. It says, Black girl to Black girl is how it should always be. Unfortunately, Mercedes Johnson is not the only person Mercedes Johnson in out here. So Hikai Harris, Hair, put on here, when a major brand reached out to me about a campaign, one of their agents asked, what were my rates? I told them $150 for a TikTok. This was my very first paid partnership, and I wasn't sure if I was asking for too much or too little. A week later, and I still hadn't heard anything from them. Then I get a phone call from their agent. The first thing she said, Black girl to Black girl, you have to know your worth, and you are worth more than that. She said, I told them your rate was $3,000 for a TikTok video, and they approved it. Y'all, I was literally speechless. I appreciate her more than words can explain. And it's not even about the money, but that woman definitely adjusted my crown. And I'll be forever grateful for all the doors and relationships she helped me open.
To use my phrase, adjust your crown without telling you it's crooked. Like, she didn't even ask. She said, no, we ain't doing that. And so that could have happened.
And that goes back to my bias point that I made earlier. I said, well, if that was a Black woman that she did that to, then yes, I have an issue with it.
Don't be young with Black women like that.
Right, like
B1, baby, B1.
Because in other cultures, like you said, LaNée, if it was white man to white man, that wouldn't have been the case. But sister to sister, it's like, all right, yeah, and I get it. Your loyalty is to the organization, but I'm B1. So my loyalty first, and then everything else.
And she could have even said, when she said she wanted 80 grand, and like you said, it was probably a raise from her last position. I would have said, okay, hold on. Unless it was a group of people, right? I'd be like, why don't you think about that? And why don't you do some research on Glassdoor to see what this position offers or something? I would just gave her a little nudge. Like, even if you didn't want to tell her, even if she had an NDA and she couldn't disclose it, whatever, there was a way to go about it instead of doing that and then putting it on public blast. But that goes back to that everybody doing too much on social media. She had to put her business all out in the street like that. She probably was trying to be a teaching moment, but a teaching moment is for the person you're trying to teach. It's not for the world to see, and it backfires.
I think it could be a teaching moment for the world because she's not the only one that thinks that way. The woman that didn't do her research. So I think it could be a teaching moment for more than just this one person.
Absolutely.
But it's how you present
media. It's been out.
The teaching moment is how it's presented. I'm going to share my screen so that you guys don't think I'm lying when I read this to you, because it's in how you present it, right? So when you say, I just offered a candidate $85,000 for a job that had a budget of 130, I offered her that because that's what she asked for. And I personally don't have the bandwidth to give lessons on salary negotiation. Here's the lesson. Always ask for the salary you want, deserve, no matter how large you think it might be. You never know how much money a company has to work with. So she could have literally made it a teaching moment. She didn't make it a teaching moment. She made it a social media opportunity because the teaching moment should have been, let me teach. How this could have played out differently was if she would have done this. She specifically said, I don't got time to teach, but you had time to post about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Two sentences could have saved her that embarrassment by talking to that candidate. And she could have still talked about this and posted about it in her own way. Like, you know, but we got to help each other. We got to want to help each other and help each other grow.
And even to your point, Teddy, I don't think she had to give I don't think she had to give away the farm, if you will. The lady asked for 85. Right. The range went to 130. A nice olive branch coming into a new company could have been like, you know what? We know you asked for 85, but we're going to offer you 90.
Right. I was going to say that.
It didn't have to be a whole 130. Thank you so much for, you're coming over. We want to make sure that we treat you right. We're going to get you 95.
Yep.
You still saving the company money. Like, you didn't have to play her 45,000. Wait, no, 85. What is that? $45,000 different? We could have thrown a little patina on it and been like, here you go. We still could have pocketed it.
I wonder how much she's making.
As a recruiter?
I wonder how much she's making, because that could have played a part too. I know Angel, she says she's a hater. So maybe she was hating. Maybe she makes 80, right? Like, ain't this black woman not coming in here making more than me? Like, you know how they say, like, the crabs in the back of our mentality. Yeah. That could have been her mentality if she's making less.
I wonder
what her salary is.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope that wasn't it.
I was working on a TV show, and I was working, and this is crazy because I actually, y'all think I'm a loudmouth on the internet. I advocate for myself, but it took time to learn how to advocate for myself, right? So I will never forget that every time that I had these astronomical, like, low, the jobs were higher than the regular jobs because I work in the industry, but there was always this moment where somebody was like, girl, you getting cheated, right? So then when I started to learn that I'm getting cheated, you kind of decide when you want to fight for it, right? Because you want to be strategic, unless you want really ready to lose the job and have a fight, and that be it. So basically all this to say that every time that I had these, it was Black women who were the gatekeepers for white supremacy. Not every time, but most times. In the case of, we're going to pay you low. We're going to pay you low, not because you deserve to be paid low, but because we know that we can pay you low. We know that we can do that to you and it'll be okay, right? So once I learned how to advocate for myself, and once I learned that I had a union that I could join, once I learned that you should be getting paid this, I went for it. I was talking to, and let me tell you what was so crazy. I was talking to Black women, and the Black woman who pretty much, they had to back pay me, okay? Back pay me for not paying me what they should have paid me. They had to pay into my benefits. And I have a letter from a Fortune 500 company just basically saying, Miss Walker, we would properly pay you, and I'm going to put it in my book one day when LaNée and Teddy help me write it. The point that I'm trying to make is, when I went to talk to this white dude about it, I was giving him my best Martin Luther King, I have a dream. That man did not give a damn. It was like, now, at the end of the day, it all boils down to numbers. And I said, that's crazy. And I'm a person who's like, well, I'm a human being, and I got this, I got lungs, and I'm have this emotional response to this, right? So then I just start to grow up and mature from a corporate mindset, and I said, well, I want to do this properly. I want to know how to be. Because, like, I don't give it. If you are a customer service person, you at $17 an hour, you ain't finna get $95,000. Okay.
Yeah.
Not right away. You can work. You can work your way up to that, right?
Mhm.
Something that we don't talk about enough is that if you're not being paid what you're worth at a particular job, get another one. Don't be afraid to get another job. I think I forget who was
Yes.
talking. Somebody was talking about hopping 6 jobs to get 200,000. And I might have told you guys about. I have a girlfriend who owns this company called Black on the Job, and she helps Black people to increase their income through getting new jobs and resume building, things of that nature. And she helped this 22-year-old young girl with high school diploma, a 22-year-old girl, high school diploma, single mom, increase her income by $35,000.
Nice.
But increase from one job to the next by $35,000. She's 22, single mom, high school diploma. So the jobs are out there. You have to ask for them. You have to apply for them. You have to put yourself out there. Like Teddy said, be open to rejection and not sit in a position where you are undervalued, you're not happy, you don't like it. Because you can find the right position for you. You can find an advocate, but you have to be willing to stick to your guns, ask for the money, show up, work, do what you're supposed to do.
Right.
I say that because I used to, back in the day, I used to work at this cellular company. I won't say the name. And I used to sleep under my desk. I was a bad employee. That's why I had to be an entrepreneur. I would work, turn my phone on, get up under my desk, and go back to sleep. I was a horrible employee.
That is what it is.
I had to be an entrepreneur because I could work for somebody else.
But you see what you said, LaNée, that this woman, she runs a company that helps people to increase their salaries, right? I'm sure they're seeking her out. So they're seeking out help. So she is some type of coach. And we speak about coaching and mentorship all the time. It is not any different when you are an employee, when you're searching for a job. Search for a coach that can help you with salary negotiation. Search for a coach that can help you get the right position for you. So coaching and mentorship is not just when you want to start your own business. It's also when you want to move up the ladder in your career.
Absolutely. You know, you got, I have a similar story to Madam President. When I was 16 and one day I got a job at Wendy's because I worked with some people that were working at Wendy's. And there was a big hiring thing that they had right before I turned 16. So they weren't paying as much when I went for my interview. It was me and a white girl, same age, first job for us, no difference between us two. Well, I got hired for that job. And this is 1996, y'all, don't judge. It was like, I think I was making like $5.35 or something like that, $5.35 an hour. I found out about 2 or 3 months after that point that the girl that was sitting next to me and got hired was making $6.10. So almost $1 more. And she wasn't even working. She had quit. She had quit after like 4 weeks or something. At 16, I walked into my manager's office, white man, probably 30, 35. I lit his ass up. I lit him up. I called him all kinds of names. I threatened to bring suit by calling the corporate office. My mama didn't play, y'all. She taught me well. And I just went off on him. And then I left my shift for that day. So when I came in for the next shift, he had worked away to pay me overtime for all that time that I had worked, even though I didn't work it, to make up for that difference. Yes. And I told him, I was like, that's the least you could do. Yeah. I was just so disgusted. I was just disgusted by the whole process because I'd seen racism before, but I'd never seen it like in a job, right? So, but then that's why I say I don't feel like I can be that person because I was like that at 16. I'm like, you're not gonna pay me less. Not in my face. You ain't gonna do it.
The same thing happens
to the employee thing. That's an entrepreneur thing too. Like it's not being paid what you're worth, getting the respect that you deserve, knowing and understanding your value. It's not an employee-employer thing. It's an individual thing. It's a self thing. Whether you're asking to be paid from your employer or you're asking to be paid from your clients or your customers, you should know your worth. You should know your value. How much education do you have? How much schooling do you have? How can you help? What's the result that you can bring the company? All those things matter, and they matter in your business life, in your career. They matter in your personal life, in your life. Like understanding and knowing your value is important in all areas of your life. and also, again, like I said, as an entrepreneur, because we have these same conversations with business owners who are trying to figure out what their price is and pricing themselves too low, or people coming to them and wanting to negotiate and get something for free, or can I pay you less? Like we have to value ourselves better and each other.
Yeah.
So I was reading on LinkedIn, someone was talking about this post. So I didn't see the post before I don't know if she pulled it off or what happened. But one of the comments mentioned for the person that was applying for the job, she said, but we have to go back to her genetic financial behavior. And basically what she was saying is, did her parents or the people in her household talk about money? Did they talk about knowing your worth? Did they talk about demanding your worth? And if your people in your household didn't, and you're not around a group of people who are doing those things, how can you know? Madam President, perfect example. How do you know what you don't know?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's really hard. That's where the knowledge gap is. Because y'all are hearing this conversation, y'all read the tweet, y'all thinking about it. What about the person like me who didn't even know this happened until we started talking about it? So if I didn't know, I still don't know. And I'm not educating myself because I'm not getting the mentors who are going to tell me. So that's why you have to constantly seek information. Seek it without thinking about it so that you'll absorb it and not even know that you were missing out beforehand.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's good. So Teddy shared a 10-step plan for negotiating your salary. Okay. Number 1 was adopt a positive frame of mind. So that means go in positively. Don't go in there like they not gonna pay me what I want. And then be like, I really want to make 100,000, but I'm just gonna put 85. Adopt a positive frame of mind. Oh, we can't hear you, Madam President. Did you say something?
Oh no, I was like, no, I agree.
Okay, number 2, identify your leverage, assess the supply and demand balance, determine if you have room to negotiate a better deal. That's good. I think Madam President was the one who said, do your research, figure out what it is that they need. How you pitch yourself in your interview and on your resume, I believe dictates how you get paid as well. So identifying your leverage and what you bring to the table. Number 3, which should have been number 1, know your worth.
Yeah.
Said that. Number 4, have a plan for the dreaded question. Ooh, it says career coaches are unanimous in this bit of advice. Disclosing your salary too early in the hiring process kills your negotiating leverage. Employers ask because they want to know if you're a realistic candidate. But answering with a number that's too low can put a cap on the salary you ultimately negotiate. So how do you respond when the first interview includes a query about your pay? Stall if you can. Say something like, I'd like to know more about what the job entails before I discuss salary. If that tactic doesn't dissuade the interviewer, try to be vague. Rather than offering up a specific number, give a range like 70 to 80,000. That's a great. That's a good one.
That's a great one.
And and as far as that, a lot of people operate out of fear when they're going on these job interviews. They feel that the employer holds all the power, and they really do not. So you have to remember, like I said earlier, this is an exchange. This is not, oh, they have the power because they have the job that I want. You have the skills and abilities that they need to do the job. So just remember that it is an exchange, and don't go in there with fear.
Can I ask a question? LaNée, are you going to continue with the list? Because I can pause on this question.
I was. Do you want me to finish, or do you want to ask your question first?
I'll let you finish. I'm gonna put a pin in the question.
I'll move fast. Y'all buzz me if I take too long. Okay, so what was the number 4? Okay, so have a plan for the question. Number 5, determine your bottom line, which is really good. Say the employer is unwilling to agree to your initial salary request. What then? To answer that question, it's wise to calculate your bottom line before you enter salary negotiations. What's the lowest number you'll accept? If $75,000 is your goal, will you settle for $70,000 or $65,000? Ooh, that's good, because sometimes they'll catch you off guard. So actually knowing what your bottom line is, that will help you when you're negotiating the salary. That's a good one.
And knowing what those benefits are too, because if it's $65,000, but they're giving you all of the benefits that you're looking for, that might be better than a job paying $75,000 and they're not giving you those benefits. They're not giving you health care. They're not giving you PTO. So you have to look at that as well.
Yeah.
Boom. Number 5 says explain your what? Okay, number 5. I'm sorry, number 6 says explain your rationale. You know you deserve more money, but your boss might not agree. Sure, there are all sorts of reasons you might want to raise. You haven't gotten a pay bump in a year or more, or you're having a baby, have a family, or you're facing an unexpected medical costs. So when you do go to negotiate, explain your rationale. Don't just be like, I've been here for 10 years. It's time for me to get a $10,000 raise. No, you got to be able to advocate for yourself and explain why you need it. I always had great bosses when I worked. One of my early bosses, she told me every time you have a win, write it down because you're not going to remember what you've done in a year when it comes time to do your evaluation. So every time you do something that's good or that's successful, you have a win, write it down so that when you go into your evaluation, you can be like, this is what I've accomplished over the year. And this is why I think I deserve more than a 3% raise or more than a 5% raise because I did this, and this. But they don't remember. And if if they don't remember and you don't remember, you just walk in there, just take what they give you. So write down what it is that you're doing throughout the year so that you can explain your rationale when it comes time to negotiate your salary. Number 7 says to pick the right time. If your boss is going through a divorce, you may not want to go in there and ask for a raise. Just picking the right time to ask in the morning if they're happy and not in the evening if the numbers ain't right. Just picking the right time. Number 8, use the right tone and show confidence. It says this is tricky. You don't want to seem arrogant, but you do want to come across as a passionate advocate of your value. Doing your homework, researching salaries, laying out your worth, planning the time of your request goes a long way towards creating confidence. So that's a good one. Number 9 is prepare for the counter offer. So what Michelle Obama said, when they go low, you go high. In this situation, you're going to go high and they're going to go low. So be prepared for that, which is why knowing your bottom line is important. So you can say, no, this is my line in the sand. And then number 10 says to consider negotiating your perks. So many employers are just stubborn about giving out raises. They don't want to increase fixed costs, a category that includes salaries, but they're more generous with one-time costs such as signing bonuses or annual bonuses. If you don't get the salary you want, see if you can coax a bigger bonus and try to negotiate perks, the sort of things your employer thinks of as free, but in fact can be very valuable. These include vacation time, flexible working hours, telecommuting, job title, moving expenses, training costs, and dues for professional associations. Employers tend to be more willing to sweeten the perks. Man, let me tell you, I have coached some of my clients into entrepreneurship by having their employers pay for training. Because your employer will pay for you to take classes.
Yeah.
And so if you feel like you're struggling in the area, you want to get a raise or promotion, have your job pay for you to learn whatever it is that they're saying you're struggling. We would like to promote you, but you're struggling here. Cool. I found a course. I found a class that will train me on that. Will the company pay for it? Usually they will. Get yourself educated, learn a new skill, and bounce.
Yeah. I got a few certifications for my job. I'll tell you.
Okay, I'm done, Madam President. Go ahead.
I was going to ask, so I had saw in an article or maybe social media that Cardi B, I don't know how the name just keeps popping up, but Cardi B was the new creative director for Playboy. When I think about the creative director, I think about marketing, right? And I think about a college education or 15 years in marketing. That's what people will typically say that you have to be some type of director at a major company. So I was kind of mesmerized at how celebrityism is kind of landing people corporate jobs. And I thought, why don't people be upset about things like this? You the one with the school got $85,000 and Sally made that, and when and you like under the post like congratulations, bruh, that's your gig.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, all right, whatever. So when you had spoke about nepotism or just kind of the way that Fortune 500 companies do things, I just really feel like a lot has shifted, in the last 5+ years. And what do you guys think about that? I guess the question is, should a celebrity get a should a celebrity get a pass?
Mm-hmm. Wait, I want to add on to that, Madam President, because when I watch television or movies and I see celebrity acting, and I'm not an actor, I've never done that, but I know that some people dedicate their life to crafting their acting skills. They go to schools like Juilliard and these fancy schools, and all they want to do is be an actor. They're working as waiters and waitresses in New York and LA. And then I see some celebrity with very little talent walk on the stage, walk on the set, and they have a role. It angers me because I'm like, there's people who dedicate their life to that, who could have had that role, who are more talented, I'm sure, than this person, but they weren't even given the opportunity. So yeah, I want to ask you two that. Like, what do you think? Because it pisses me off. And I don't know if it's just not fair.
I'm going to add to what you said. We're just going to keep adding to this whole point. One step further, because what angers me is you have all these entrepreneurs out here with business, and then you have a celebrity that will come through and start the same business. So Taraji P. Henson has a hair care line now. Tracy Ellis Ross has a hair care line now. Lori Harvey has a face care line now. And your homegirls and your cousins and your brothers and your sisters have had hair care lines and eyelash companies for years. You don't support them, but as soon as a celebrity gets a business that they probably white labeled,
yes,
you want to go out and support it.
Yes.
LaNée, I was going to say the same thing. I just had this conversation because I was looking back on a post. You know how you receive memories. So I was looking back on a post that I posted like 10 years ago about that. And I was just like, it's crazy how y'all support these celebrities drop of a dime, but your sister and your cousins and them, they had these businesses and you don't support them. Why is that? These are the people that are in your corner riding for you. These celebrities don't care about you.
And life isn't fair. I got it. But that's just not fair. And it's not fair for them to even want to take that business away with their name and white labeling. Like there's people that are making their own butters and all this stuff, like hair care butters, and you're just taking some product and labeling it, and you're going to have more sales because of your celebrityism. Yeah. And I'm not saying they didn't work for their celebrityism, whatever. That's not up for debate. But yeah, it irritates me. Maybe it doesn't anger me, but it really irritates me, and I don't support it. I do not support it. I don't. Small businesses all the way before I would do that.
So to answer Madam President's point, no, they shouldn't get a pass.
Yeah,
they shouldn't get a pass. You shouldn't be able to.
Real. She doesn't have in your example, she doesn't have the business acumen to do that job. So it's just something they're doing for whatever reason. And I just think it's disgusting. But
you know what's so crazy? What I find to be disgusting is the behavior of the people. The people just sit back and be like, oh yeah, that's how you do it. That's not how you do it. You should be countering America and its behavior when they do stuff like this. You should be saying, oh no, you said that the requirement was, you said that the education requirement was, you said that the experience requirement was. But if you just gonna be like, and let me tell you what Black people do all the time. Black people choose one over a million all the time. Yeah. I don't know why we do that. I don't know why we do that. Somebody just imagine, think about the Grammys. Oh, Jay-Z didn't get no Grammy. Such and such thing. Okay, yeah, it's an uproar, but meanwhile, your sister over here getting cheated out of $30,000, and you don't know about it unless the HR recruiter put it up on a goddamn tweet. Right?
Yeah,
we're so out of touch going on that we literally over here like, yeah, it got to be tweeted for us to get involved.
We go to bat for celebrities.
Exactly. It's like, but the day is really where the attention needs to be. Every day, there's a lot of women, and what you all do, coach women, bring them up to standard and beyond, help them get away from the corporate plantation and all these different things. And it's just like, there should be a line of this, LaNée. It should be a line of 5 million plus. Because I went into this frame shop recently, and I was getting some artwork framed in my house, and there's a family frame shop. And he was like, oh yeah, my dad and my mom, we all work here. And, it's been in business for 45 years. Now, mind you, it's a frame shop. I ain't got no more than 10 things that need to be framed. So I'm thinking like, how the hell does a frame shop stay open for 40 years? But really how it stays open is everybody is well. That's the objective. We're not trying to get one person into one big house with one person with one mansion with $1 million when we all can literally be well, okay, have homes, at $200,000 a year. That's can be an objective too. Yeah. And I just really believe that, we sacrifice the Black community so often just to let some Black folks assimilate into white culture and get paid for it.
Absolutely. Tracy, I'm going to answer this because I feel this in my bones, Tracy.
Yeah,
I know you do, LaNée.
Get honorary degrees while other folks burn the midnight oil for years, studying, reading, extending energy. Repeat, girl, stop talking my language. Yeah. I am sitting here working on this dissertation right now. I was up to 4 o'clock this morning working on my dissertation because I have a submittal tomorrow night at midnight, and went to bed at 4 and was up at 7:45 so that I could start my workday. When you talk about burning the midnight oil, and then when I see somebody get an honorary degree or an honorary this or that, and I'd be like, this joint is taking me 5, 6, 7 years to do. That irritates me to no good. Like, I'm about to be petty when I get this degree. I see somebody with a doctor. Well, what was your thesis? What school did you go to? I'm not just for like a year. For like a year, I'm gonna be petty. And if they can't tell me what school they went to, and they can't tell me what their dissertation was on, I'm gonna call them by their name. Okay, Tanya. I'm not a doctor. I'm gonna call. Oh, okay, Tanya. Now you can tell me yo. My dissertation was on this. I went to this school. Hello, Dr. Tanya. Hello, Doctor. Hello, Dr. Jimmy. But if not, Jimmy.
If you want them to have a master class, let them teach a master class. If you want to name a hall after them, do that. But don't give away something that costs. If it costs 5, 6, 7 years of your life and time, then that is the cost, and they need to pay it. Now, you can say in their social work and all their outreach, they've accomplished that. And some people do meet that. Very few meet that criteria. But the majority just don't mean nothing. And it's so irritating.
Yeah.
Like everything in China. It's like, if you can buy everything for $1, then you don't want to spend $10 or $100 is what it really costs for something that's valuable. You just want to buy 100 of the things that cost $1. And it's just not, it don't make no sense.
And the thing is, if you're doing that for celebrities, do it across the board. So I'm not sure if these universities are doing that. I can't say, but do it across the board. So, and just as far as these celebrities getting into positions and these celebrities getting things that the masses don't get, from a business standpoint, these businesses are saying, well, this is how I spread awareness, because I know I do talk to my clients about influencer marketing, right? So the influencers, they're going to get stuff for free because I'm borrowing their audience. So I do get it from like the business standpoint. Is it fair? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the honorary degree things, I forget who said it. Oh, Angel, I just showed your comment. We have to start giving credit where it's due instead of on who it's placed upon. And I gave the example of Felicia Rashad, right? So Felicia Rashad got an honorary doctorate in her area of expertise, and she's been in this business for years, worthy of it. Definitely should get it. I forget what they gave Shaq one for, but I believe he got an honorary doctorate. I think maybe business. Allegedly, I might be wrong. I believe he's Dr. Shaquille O'Neal though, and I can't remember what it's for or why. You see, I'm doing my bunny ears all over the camera for YouTube and people who allege it. Okay, why is it? So you get a doctorate in NBA? Can you get a doctorate in basketball? Like, what did you get it for? Now, if he went and earned it, but he did the research and notes. But I believe it was an honorary.
And even being a good business person doesn't deserve a PhD. That's not what it's for. You're a mogul. Be that. Like, you're a great businessman. You've made great business decisions. That don't mean you're a PhD. It just don't. It don't mean that's what it is.
This is some of my research. Like, this is just one of the pieces of research. I can show you guys my dissertation is literally up behind me. Chapters 1 through 3 are only 181 pages. When this whole thing is done, it's like 360 pages of content and research and time and reading and energy and sweat to make sure that I am a doctor at this conversation with regard to the research that I'm doing. All right. Well, I think we've had a full conversation. We've had a full conversation on knowing your worth. We went from employers, employees, to entrepreneurs, to education, back to an entrepreneurs. Like, we've had a full conversation on knowing your worth, getting paid with your worth. Any final thoughts? We'll go around the room and do some final thoughts.
I'm just going to say, do your research. Like we said throughout the whole show, know what you're worth. Do your research on your industry. Understand your industry. If you don't know, you don't have to go at it alone. Get a career coach, someone that's going to help you with negotiating your salary, finding the right position for you, and go out there and kill it. And for us Black women, we do need to be looking out for our Black women and men, right? So we do need to be looking out for each other, because these other cultures, these other communities, they're looking out for them all the time. We have to start looking out for us.
Yes,
absolutely. I just want to say, as a Black woman, in the 1800s, they had you on the auction block selling you for $800. When you survived the slave trade, you basically came through America as an asset. Don't forget that. You are always an asset to this country, and you're an asset to every door that you walk through. And I don't care what your economic status is, because I know sometimes when you come from where I come from, like I come from the inner city of Chicago, you go into those spaces and those environments, and people speak with a certain dialect. People have a certain education, and you feel like that maybe you're not worthy. Oh, you are worthy, and you're there for a reason. So you might as well get paid the top dollar, and don't just be calculating what it costs. Calculate your bills, calculate what vacation costs, calculate what an emergency costs for you to get your dental taken care of. Like, put all of that. Your living expenses is about you being well and beyond. So you're an asset, and walk into it like you are an asset. And that's all I got to say about that.
I see that sweatshirt coming. Black girl asset.
I like it.
Make it work.
I like it. I just want to say, the responsibility is on you. Y'all know I say it. Everybody can't come. I'm not going to be mad if I can come in the gate making my 6-figure salary plus the $30,000 that you left on the table. So the onus and responsibility is on you to get that network, find those mentors, get on those Facebook groups, talk to people in your industry so you know what the hell is going on, so that you can come to the table prepared. Whatever the table it is, their table, your table, whoever it is, you need to know your worth, know your value, and know what the median price is so that you can come prepared. Because there will be people standing by to pick up where you failed, and just don't let them. We can all get the same slice of pie, but that's not life, right? Because it's not fair. Some people get big pieces, some people get small pieces. You worry about you and make sure you get a big piece, and then each one teach one.
Yes.
I'm gonna quote the famous YouTube. No, I think it's a TikTok video right now, and I don't know who actually said it, but I did just hear it in Kanye's verse, and it says, "I'm not coming to the table. I am the table." We have to start realizing that we are the table. We don't bring the table. We don't have to come sit at the table. We are the table. Like Madam President said, we are an asset. Everything we do, everything we touch turns to gold. Everybody wants to be us, be like us, look like us. They tan to be us. They get lip fillers. They do injecting their butts. Like, we are the shit. And we need to show up like that every day, in every way, everywhere we go, everyone we go into. When we sit down to negotiate with our employers, when we sit down to negotiate with our clients, when we sit down to negotiate with our customers, when we sit down to negotiate with our in relationship, like it does not matter what it is. Show up, understand and know your value, and make sure that those around you get it too.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who it is, child, spouse, employer, customer, client, homegirl, friend, it doesn't matter. Know your worth, know your value, know that you're an asset. I'm telling you, man, we need this black girl asset. I need a black girl asset sweatshirt.
Yes.
One of y'all, I don't care which one of you do it. That asset sweatshirt better be coming out real soon. I don't need no trademark. Well, actually, I guess since it was.
I was about to say that.
I was about to say, yeah, I don't want no trademark. Yeah. All right. You saw it here first, y'all. Look at proper trademark. It goes where it's supposed to go. All right. But that's, Dana, I think it's Dana. Dana said black girl acid. Stephanie right there, black girl acid. Yes, I'm telling. Look at Tiara Jackson said black girl acid. It's a new thing.
It is. Y'all better keep it, man. President, y'all better get it now. Y'all better get
it. Don't be playing around. Don't be playing around. Okay. With that being said, we love you guys. We appreciate you so much. Thank you for tuning in for another episode of Melanated Air. We do this every Tuesday and Thursday at around 2:00 p.m. Eastern. We do it on Melanated Air. If you are subscribed to our YouTube channel or you're watching our YouTube channel, we do this on Melanated Air. We're literally on 8 different platforms right now. So just, I don't know which one you're watching us on, but thank you for tuning in. You can follow us at Melanated Air. You can also support and follow us each individually. You see everybody's handle there. You can find Keisha at We Inspire Brand. You can find the dopest Madam President at the #1 Madam President with the Z. You can follow Teddy Ewing. She's in Egypt, so we're international, but please go and love and supporting her as she makes her transition out of the military. You can find her at The Real Teddy Talks. And you can find myself online at I Am LaNée Javet. And also follow us at Melanated Air too. We're working on getting all of our social media across the board. We just want to say thank you. We love you. We appreciate you tuning in for these types of conversations, this type of dialogue, which we do feel is necessary and needed. And we're super appreciative that you appreciate it and that you find it valuable. With that being said, we wish you all farewell. As always, continue to be blessed, stay black, and be one. We'll see you guys.